Alright guys, welcome back to another video here on the EGL channel, CDL Talk with Tunn once again. Things are starting to heat up. We're nearly into the time of year where the CDL season does start. Of course, we've got Elite qualifiers coming up this weekend. Super interested to see what's going on there. But of course, we've got the main CDL season starting on the 11th. Very, very excited to see what happens there. But let's just delve through what's been happening the past few days. There's a few things to talk through, so let's get into it. First and foremost, the thing that's on everyone's lips at the moment is that League Play is coming on February the 8th. But some issues with it. Built on the foundations of Black Ops 4 popular ladder system, Black Ops Cold War's League Play will offer even more ranks for competitive fans to climb during intense League Play events. It's going to be the same as Black Ops 4 League Play, which wasn't necessarily the fan favourite by any stretch of the imagination. I think we just want to see something like what we've seen in World War II, realistically. What I will say is that at least we have a League Play this year. I mean, look, it's one of those things there where if you think that is enough, then that's great. But, you know, realistically, it could have been better and you would have expected maybe something a little bit sharper considering we're in the second franchise here. But I just want to, you know, maybe as a small caveat, not to be a suit, but leaning on the side of Treyarch, I've not really had a lot of time to complete this game, etc., etc. You know, this sort of thing would have got pushed back. Warzone, etc. is just more important to Activision right now, and it's understandable, but at the same time, we'd love to see maybe a bit of a better League Play system coming in, irrelevant of that. However, for me, I'm happy that I've got it. I really can't stand pubs in its current form, so the fact that we're going to have a League Play at least means that we can play with like GAs, etc., etc. Which brings me on to the next thing, not quite that. We're going to go in CDL Intel. Shout out to Cron for just bringing all the info. CDL custom preset classes are now live in custom games, Craig, AKSM4U, and XM4 only. I'm not going to go into the whole GA chat necessarily. I think it would be foolish of me to really maybe extend the conversation to that too much, but having these preset classes, I didn't want to necessarily talk about it without it being fully verified, and obviously in the game now, that's pretty much verification in there. But of course, I don't think this is actually a terrible idea by any stretch of the imagination. I hope it's in League Play as well to force players to be using what is essentially seen as the base of the game and where it should be at, rather than some of the overpowered things, of course. I mean, don't get me wrong, XM4 is still pretty good, so is the 7. Some of the guns are a bit good. Irrelevant of the point, everybody's going to be using the same thing. It's a nice way, I think, for the organization and for the game to introduce players to what the pros are playing with. So it's not a case of where you're like having to search through YouTube, oh, what's the best pro class, etc., etc. You've got the best classes that can be used on a pro level in there. You don't need to fanny on sorting that out. Like, you've got that there. I like that. I think it's good for inclusion of the masses in general. As far as the pros are concerned, though, you know, there may be some complaints that, you know, we're not going to have any variation. Can somebody not bring something different to the table? Look, I mean, think of the Rampart, etc. You know, that came in during the Black Ops 4 season. A lot of people start using that. They're like, oh god, that's really good. That got GA'd. It sort of takes away from a bit of a weird pick coming out with a different weapon. And another negative is it looks like we're not going to see sniper rifles with how good they are at this moment in time, which is a real big shame. That might change, but who knows. I know that somebody went through and had a look, and it is the exact same for every single mode. There is no sniper rifle classes, so sniper rifles won't be able to be used. I do believe that this is ever so slightly broken right now, but it's more so the point of the conversation of what the positives and negatives are of this. I think, you know, the positives outweigh the negatives of this. I absolutely do not hate this idea. As long as everything works, that's fantastic. I know that the recent patch has caused some issues in the game, and that should get sorted out pretty shortly, I would like to think, considering the first weekend is coming up very, very shortly. But let's delve into a little bit more of what is going to be going on cosmetically. I know there was some complaints around the League Play cosmetics. All those tweets did get deleted. I ain't tactical rap. I ain't going through and saving them. So I'm not that level of COD content creator at this point. I'm not going through and saving them, but realistically, things didn't necessarily look too flashy. It looked pretty much thrown together, very, very dull. It's not what we want. We would like to see more than that. But let's have a look at the skins that's going to be coming in. Obviously, this is a low quality one of something that's come out. Not too bad, realistically. All very, very generic. I would have liked to see something maybe changed up with some of them. Maybe the teams have a little bit more insight into them. But some of them are really good colors. The OG one is going to sell. It will sell so, so fast. Just a big OG logo on the front there. I mean, the best thing they ever could have done was get Optic back into this one. Shout out to Hex for making that happen, of course. But the CDL Surge stuff looks really, really nice. I will say that as well. I like the caps. I like the logos on the hats as well. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm interested to see what they all look like when they do, of course, come out. But speaking of skins and kit, let's move on to the Pro Kit. All the teams are slowly releasing what's going to be their jerseys and official stuff. I'm just going to go through and let you know what I think of them, because I feel like I wear alright stuff. So, I mean, if you want my opinion, I think the Ultra ones are pretty tasty, actually. Let's have a look through. Zinni in there, what a handsome guy. I like it. I do like the purple. It's very purple, but the quality looks really, really nice. I think the Ultra one is pretty good. Let's have a look through some of the other ones. I honestly will say it. I think, typically, the away Seattle Surge is my favorite. I think that is fire. I think that's so nice. I think the Seattle skyline, obviously in the background, etc., etc. I think this is really good. I will say they're really expensive, but I mean, it's across the board, isn't it? I mean, the Toronto one's 100. I mean, that'll be Canadian dollars, I presume. Seattle Surge 90 for both. I'm gonna delve in, right? Because I know that Paris got some shit. As they do very often. These two jerseys, super boring. You know when they combine them like that? That would be good. I actually really like that. You see that design they've got right there? That would be good. Is that what they're doing? Am I stupid? Home and away jerseys. That's what they're doing. They combine them together. Oh look, there's our away, there's our home. Combine them together. That would actually look quite sick. That's just me. Besides the point, let's move on to some of the other ones. London Royal Ravens, the jerseys look okay. I'm not like massive on it. Like, that's not nice for me. I think it's a bit much. I don't know. I think the red is a bit standout, and I think the blue doesn't necessarily work great with it. This is just like my own personal opinion. You think what you want, but I think the away jersey is maybe a little nicer. It's a little cleaner. I don't mind the design. I've never been a great fan of the logo, personally. I think it's just a bit meh. I don't know. It just doesn't do a lot for me. But that's just my own personal opinion. I love the team and whatnot, but not really too keen on the actual jersey. £52, at least you can get this one in the UK, no problemo. Obviously, we went through both those. Let's talk about the Mutineers shirt, though, because this is real nice. And what I will say as well, it looks like good quality. I don't think it's embroidered. That would be pretty cool if it was embroidered. We ain't trying to look at this guy's legs. But that's a very, very nice jersey. Very, very nice hoodie, I should say. The jersey itself is really cool as well. I absolutely love like the tentacle design on it. If you had it deep in there as well, it looks really, really nice. Obviously, everything has the cut league thing on the side. Let's just make sure we accept those cookies. Yeah, it's really, really nice. I think the Mutineer stuff's really, really good. The away one is pretty sweet as well. But honestly, I think all the kits, for the most part, are being pretty decent. London and Paris, obviously, the least favorite. I think if, you know, I said they combined these two, then you know, maybe we're looking a little bit better. Surge stuff's great. Toronto stuff's great. I'm really excited to see what 100 Thieves and Optic come out with. I don't know if they've actually officially released anything in terms of the official CDL stuff. Obviously, previous stuff from Optic and 100 Thieves is just sort of counting, but I don't think they've really released too much. But the main talking point of the video, let's talk about League Play once again. Are you happy with it? I think most of the community aren't, if I'm honest. I think most of the community would have liked to see something maybe a little bit deeper, if you like. Maybe a little bit more ELO kind of orientated. But for me, I'm happy to have at least something. I know that shouldn't be necessarily the, yes, okay, we're happy with just this small amount, but at the same time, it's better than nothing that we had last year. That's my opinion on it. Let me know what you think below. I'm very, very excited for things to get kicked off. Make sure you are keeping an eye out for any broadcasts for the Challengers Elite Qualifier, which is going on this weekend. That's the big COD event that should be happening this weekend, of course, and very excited to get in that one. I think I'm going to be jumping in some casting on the EU side of things, so keep an eye out for that. We'll catch you for the next video, guys. See you then.